All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Deep Dive here at the Fast Times News on YouTube. We're going to be tackling something pretty major today, the 2024 election.
Buckle up.
Oh, yeah.
This one's a wild ride.
I've been following politics for a while now, and even I am kind of blown away by how crazy this one is.
You and everyone else.
So just a quick recap for anyone tuning in for the first time. We're just days away from the election.
And it's neck and neck.
Neck and neck.
Totally unprecedented.
We've got a 78-year-old Trump.
Who, by the way, survived 2 assassination attempts and has a felony conviction. Don't forget that part.
Running against Kamala Harris, who's 60.
Stepped in after Biden dropped out, remember?
Yeah, it's like something out of a movie script, honestly.
He really is. We're living through a historic moment, that's for sure.
And the stakes. I mean, everyone's making this out to be the election that'll decide, like, the fate of America.
Yeah, no pressure or anything.
Right. It feels like the country's more divided than ever.
No kidding. You see everywhere you look online, in the news, even just talking to people.
Totally. It's not just about disagreeing on policies anymore. It feels way deeper.
It's about values, about what it even means to be American these days. 2 completely different visions for the future clashing head on.
Okay, let's dive into the candidates themselves for a second. Trump president. I mean, where do we even begin? Legal battles, the assassination attempts.
It's a lot to unpack.
It really is. What do you think? How's all that playing with voters?
Well, it's tricky, right? It's a double-edged sword.
How so?
For some, it just reinforces that image of him as a fighter.
The one who never gives up.
Exactly, someone who takes on the establishment, the odds, everything.
But for others, it's got to raise some red flags, right?
Absolutely.
Like, can he even handle being president again? Especially at his age, after everything he's been through.
Tough questions, for sure.
Definitely makes you think. And then there's Harris. I mean, talk about pressure, right? Stepping into Biden's shoes like that?
Not an easy position to be in, that's for sure.
No kidding. What do you think her biggest challenge is right now?
Convincing voters that she's not just a placeholder, that she's the leader America needs right now.
And that she's up to the job.
Right. Exactly. It's not enough to just be capable. She has to be seen as the right person for this moment in history.
It's a tall order, that's for sure.
It is.
And speaking of tall orders, did you see that over 77 million people have already voted?
I did. Early voting is through the roof this year.
It's crazy. Really shows you how much people care about this election.
And it makes these last few days even more crucial.
Right. Every vote counts.
Every single one. Both campaigns are pulling out all the stops to get their voters to the polls.
So where are they focusing their efforts? What's the strategy?
Well, Harris is really honing in on women and young voters.
Makes sense, right? They're traditionally more likely to vote Democrat.
Exactly. If she can mobilize those groups, she's got a good shot.
And what about Trump? What's his play?
He's going after what we call low propensity voters.
Low propensity.
Yeah, basically people who don't usually vote.
Oh, I see. The ones who've kind of tuned out of politics.
Exactly. Maybe they're disillusioned. Maybe they just don't think their vote matters.
Interesting. So Trump's trying to convince them to come out and vote for him?
Precisely. If he can get enough of them to the polls, it could be a game changer.
Wow. So different strategies, but both aimed at getting those crucial votes.
That's what it all comes down to in the end.
And their closing arguments really reflect that, don't they?
For sure.
Trump's all about inflation, about enemies within.
Playing on those fears and anxieties.
Right. And Harris is talking about threats to democracy, about hope for a more just future.
2 very different narratives, 2 very different visions for America.
It's almost like they're talking about 2 completely different countries.
In a way, they are. It all comes down to which vision resonates more strongly with voters.
All right, before we wrap things up, we got to talk about Pennsylvania.
Ah, the Keystone State.
It seems like everyone's saying it's the one to watch. Why is that?
Pennsylvania is what we call a battleground state, meaning it could go either way.
So it's really up for grabs.
Totally. It's a microcosm of the country as a whole.
How so?
You've got big cities like Philadelphia that tend to vote Democrat.
Right.
Rural areas that lean Republican.
And a lot of suburbs in between.
Exactly. Those suburbs are often the ones that swing the election.
So winning Pennsylvania is huge for both candidates.
Absolutely. It's got 20 electoral votes, which could be decisive.
See, this is where I get confused with the Electoral College.
It's complicated.
Why can't we just go by the popular vote?
Well, because of the Electoral College, a candidate can actually win the popular vote nationally but still lose the election.
Really?
Yep, if they don't get enough electoral votes from individual states.
So that's why Pennsylvania is so important.
Exactly. Every vote there really could make the difference.
Okay, last thing before we let everyone go. The experts are saying we might not know the winner on election night.
That's right. With all the mail-in ballots, it could take a while to count everything.
So we might be in for a long wait.
We might. And it's important to be patient, to wait for the official results, to not jump to conclusions.
Good advice. This has been a wild ride, this deep dive.
It has.
We talked about Trump, Harris, Pennsylvania, the Electoral College, and the fact that we might not even know the winner for a while.
A lot to digest.
It really is. So, for everyone watching, what stood out to you the most? Is it the candidates themselves, their different visions for the future, the fact that this election is so close?
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What questions do you still have?
We want to hear from you. And while you're down there in the comments, hit that subscribe button.
And share this deep dive with anyone who wants to understand this crazy election.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back soon with more coverage as we get closer to Election Day.
Stay tuned.
See you soon.